selling upsell offers and creating more offers. So if you have grossed 100K in revenue from your front-end offer, it's time for you to create more offers. Or if you ever need the money like I did. Most people have spent a lot of time creating the first great offer, but when it comes to their upsell offer, I see the laziest call I ever seen in my life from the offer and sales mastery perspective. Done well, it can double or quadruple your business, and like worst case scenario, you will be able to pay for all of your marketing spend on it. So it's really something extremely important that if you focus on, it will make you a lot of money. So if acquisition is most of your costs, this is mostly profit. Like really fight for it and make it a priority for 3 months, and it will make you more money than any new VSL and new ads or even new sales rep. So actual offers I've seen work in education. So number one is solving one problem always creates a problem number two. So like it's a next step side. It really helps to be a category leader for that one. For example, consulting.com, when it was run by Sam, it was scale your consulting business to 6 figures, make 10K per month basically. Next one is 7-figure Zen, how to turn like your pretty much a not the best run agency to actual a 7-figure business when you consult, when you sell courses around that topic. And then the third one was scale to 8 figures, become a category king. And that was the mastermind. Each price point was like, I believe there was like 4K, 5K. Upsell was 7K. I think the front end at that time, so the consulting accelerator was like 2 grand. Then the extension from that was like 6.8K. And then the third offer was 36,000. So it's great for coaching and BizOp or like really small categories that you can really own, because you're giving them the exact step-by-step roadmap on each point. Number two is front end is like a method for doing something, and backends are the tickets to the method, like the recurring consumable that maybe you heard Alex Hormozi talk about. Gym Launch system was $60,000 and Gym Launch ads were like $800 or something like that, and created this massive backend for them that actually was very important for selling of that business, which created that continuation. Or next one is this YouTube business system, and then you still need like video ideas or editing or things like that. That creates like this powerful method, because especially when you're selling marketing, you need still the things to feed into the system. Or if you're selling a training on something, a lot of the times you will have people that will either churn or when the department will be growing, need to be hired. Next one is community or events. So in-person events and strong community help tremendously. Like 4 times per year for 1 or 2 days, you really can start at 20K for B2C or 36K for B2B plus and slowly increase over time. Next one is just training the team, right? Like example from that is daily sales meeting with our sales manager fractionally, and or QA, quality assurance of the video editor every week, and training them. Next one will be softwares customers need to run their business. It can really add up. We're making right now like 5 to 7K per month just from that. And that's like not bad for one-time work. You can do that by either creating your own simple software for anything that's like already in their existing software stack, or just create like affiliate links for it and just do that. The next big one is other things that people are not buying, they're not in your core service. For example, a massive fitness brand that sells supplements and paid already all this money to get people to buy supplements and things like that, also happens to sell coaching later. That adds another thousands and thousands of dollars in the AUV in the backend, or even later, they sell like insurance and things like that. So really cross-selling the things that are not your core service. Or for example, selling leads to each other. Like you don't need to own everything. At the start, you can sell the leads, see how much money they're making, and then over time, either buy a business or build a department inside. Next one is like affiliate and partnership deals. And then you can do it through an affiliate or partnership deals or any form of like exclusivity on that. Next one is just more access. You can do one-on-one support if you haven't offered that in the front end already. Support from the talent, like the main person, right? Like one-on-ones with a Grant Cardone would be extremely valuable and probably a great upsell, right? For a lot of money. Or selling like the CSM support, better support, faster support, dimensionalizing more access. And next, which is my least favorite, but just like more of the same, longer access to the same thing. Usually the least valuable do it as like a downsell if they can't afford a new, better thing. And sometimes it can add another few $1,000s to the customers, and that's like, again, mostly profit, if you're running the business that's mostly acquisition. Who is the closer for those calls? Well, at the start, I really recommend the CEO or person who's really good at sales taking them, because each of this call can be for thousands and thousands of dollars, and you're not gonna have many of them. Let's say you get like 100 active clients, you'll probably have like 3 to 10 per month of actual calls, and then therefore thousands of dollars, and the close rate on that will be very high. Like we right now, I believe, have like 70% close rate on it, and cash collected is great because you're only talking to people, you only set the people that have higher probability of ascending. And option number 2 is client success director or a success manager that has experience with it. Or the third option is just get the front-end salesperson that sold a client in the first place. That also works really well. Now, a bunch of tricks on how to create and sell more upsell offers. Next is just talk to the customers. If you talk to the customers for 10 hours, you will know what's your next offer. However, you will not really know what's the next offer until you try selling it and see if they're like really get excited for it, really want it or not. And treat it the same as you solve the front end. Like, how did you solve the front end? You probably generated quite a lot of calls, took them personally, solved it, then handed it off to the next person. Do the same thing, or hire somebody who solved it before. And there are many offers that you can sell. So start with the one that's fastest, the most profitable, like AKA the most leverage. For example, like you can start an editing studio that's like in person, which is good, which is like labor leverage, or you can start the software, right? If you have the skill and the willingness, like start with the one that has higher potential, especially for the backend. I assume you already make good money, so you want to go like bigger and even more leveraged over time. At least start thinking about it. On the flip side of it, the more logistically complex you are, the bigger moat you will have, and you can, for example, in your ads, promise that make this bold, massive promise and just kind of downsell your front end. And then like in the ads, you can make this massive guarantee or whatever your backend is, and that will enable you to get lower cost per call and things around that. Next is being category leader is one of the best things for higher price upsells. And the difference between being number 2 or number 3 and being number 1 can sometimes be even double the price. Creating a unique mechanism or unique lifestyle, your way of doing it, will kind of eliminate the choice because you create a category of 1. Deliver on the results on you promised, or when they need it most, present the upsell. So you can change the promised results on the front end. A lot of the times that's what I was looking at, to align the offers better, right? If you're already giving so much stuff on the front end, sometimes it's harder to provide the back end that's good. So what I a lot of the times recommend is just kind of analyze what can be this customer journey when it comes to actual offers. And the faster you deliver on the promises, the better. You don't need to wait for the next call or the expiration of the access to potentially upsell them to the next thing. And try to find them in this buying frenzy when they have the money and they have the problem and they still want to figure out all the problems with it. For example, if you show people how to scale their agency using sales teams and they just bought from you sales training, you can also do your ascension offer almost right away. It's like, hey, I analyze your calls and the talent you have is not the best. And they're just in the market, they just have the budget for it, so they may buy the sales placement for you right away. And 2 is the A/B sale, which is, especially when they got the result, you just sell it as next steps. Hey, next steps from here is they're doing A or doing B, so and both of them are kind of buying more from you. We tried it quite a bit and it worked decently. It was not incredible, but it's definitely an option to remove this sales pressure. And one of the biggest things I learned when it comes to those upsell calls is a lot of the times you have to negotiate the times to make it work. A lot of those deals, they die in negotiation. In service-based business, this is mostly profit. So it really makes sense to figure out what it is, especially at the start, and negotiate. If they don't want this, you can give them that. And there are few clauses that you can use. For example, minimal commitment to start seeing the results. If you're selling something for $8,000 for 6 months, you can just be hey, let's just do a first month. Or you can do a trial close for 7 days, 14 days for free, just to get them on that. Because we also know that the buying percentage, the actual, it converts, the conversion rate from a trial to a paid client is pretty high, especially if you do a good job. And you can use if someone wants the offer but they don't have the money, you can make it cheaper if they give you a case study. You can make it cheaper if they refer you to 3 friends. right away, and then close them on like a deposit, actual good interest to people, and then give them to the program, right? Or give them like any reason, like because you're a customer already, we're going to give you X, Y, and Z, right? Like that's just getting people in, just negotiating a lot of the terms will give you tremendously higher close rate on those people. The next one idea is if they completely don't have the money, you can ask them to post on social media for a discount, for a free trial, for this. That's the negotiation. It needs to be like you give them something and they give you something in exchange. It can't be just like you lowering your price or lowering your standards for no reason. Next is make the upsell prices closer to the ones you actually want to upsell. For example, if your front end is 6K for 2 months, right? You can have this like decoy offer, still attractive, but not as attractive at like 15K for 12 months. And you can have a third offer that's like 17.5K for 12 months. We've seen that increase the buying percentage on the backend offer. But remember, you need to add like some features to that 17K offer to actually make it worth it, right? You can also have lower monthly payments for your new offer to make the front-end offer look like it's for shorter term, higher price point, and longer time offer, the longer it is, the cheaper it is, which helps people committing for the long term and fundamentally increase their AOV. And really think long term with it. Even if people pay less, but their average order value or gross profit per customer is higher, that's the most important thing. Like the money that will come in the future is still money and still great. You already paid for acquisition, so it's mostly profit that's coming your way every month. And as I usually say, it's usually about the angle. Like we are way more flexible on upsells than on our front end because those people know, like, and trust us. So we're just negotiating how much profit they really want to give us. Elsewhere, I'm like, hey, we will take anything to the last. We'll find anything possible for us to deliver them great results. We will exhaust every way for them to work with us in any capacity. Now, you may be wondering who to offer the upsells to. Number one is in any meeting that you have ever with client is an opportunity for upsell. Next is right after joining the program. You don't need to wait for the end of the program to upsell people or to offer them more things. Third is when customers ask you for a refund, you can say is like, hey, I apologize, we sold you the wrong thing. This is what you actually need. And you will be surprised, people will actually do take it a lot of the times. And customers who bought it from you in the past, so those reactivation campaigns, just like reaching out with any reason, can work very nicely. 5, when someone has fewer than 21 days to finish the program, we want to offer to everyone, like just offer to everyone. It's one of the biggest tips I've learned because you really would be surprised who can take those offers. When will you turn any call that you have with a client or a conversation into a setting call? If you spot a customer that has money and a problem, we want to either offer him another service or set him with someone who will offer him another service. So if you're doing like a CSMs are just setters because they don't have like a sales experience, then you want to just set them with somebody that can close them. And the problems that we're looking for are just like time and money, but people have like different ways of saying it. So you may hear clients saying that they're spending too much time on something. They're spending like so much resources on something. And if they have money and a problem, then we can solve it, right? A lot of it, don't confuse it with clients coming to us with just like problems with the front-end offer, right? Because we do provide a service, so fundamentally we solve problems for clients. However, we want to make sure that we engineer our customer journey in a way and our offers in a way when those two things align. How do you actually set someone? If you hear clients say some of the signs we mentioned above, we move to this sequence. So what do you think you would need the most help when it comes to the problem that they mentioned? What would that enable you to do, right? So we paint the vision. Next is we qualify. This is specifically for setting. So remember when I mentioned to you that we have like higher level support to get like for their problem to get to the outcome, right? I mean, you can mention right now we are doing application only, so that would help you with that. Would you be interested in getting more help with problem to get you to outcome? If they ask what it is, you can briefly mention with it. Okay, and then you ask them financially qualify. So before that, like what are your like personal circumstances like? Like do you have like a good job, steady income? or you're not sure what the future holds. However, when you have already a relationship with a client, it will not be as hard to diagnose if they have the money or not. And if everything looks good, you schedule a call. It's very similar to setting conversations. So you find a problem that your backend can actually solve, and that's the differentiation between the two. Then see if they have the money for it and the willingness to potentially invest in themselves. And the three is we just schedule a call. The next steps from here, we would schedule a little bit of a longer call with our head of coaching to see if you qualify, go deeper in how we could solve problem so that you can outcome. Would that be appropriate, or how would you like to go from here, right? And then you just schedule it using the normal flow. If you're interested in getting those scripts exactly word by word to fill it out, just click a link below and you can get it there. Most common mistakes when it comes to setting, like always find a problem. Don't just tell people it's like, hey, this person kind of like cannot stand. Try to really find a problem that's like concrete and expand on it. The people with old payment plans or financing, like ask them for finances. Don't just book anybody with a problem. Sometimes like there's a reason they have those problems. We don't always accept everyone to maintain integrity of the programs. Sometimes people just need to like get the results with the front end, and that's fine. Like we will do our best to make it exclusive to our clients, especially our highest tier offers, the masterminds, things like that, to maintain the quality of the room and improve our branding. If you're a CSM, you want to tease them in a process about the higher level things. You can mention it. That's like they're not ready yet. That will help them and make them less resistant when we do want to offer them. And leave the notes for a closer, right? Like what are the goals? What are the problems? And those are a few questions that I ask in terms of like 0 out of 3 if we want to work with this person or not. Number 1 is, are they bought into our program and our process? Do they see a clear path to achieve their results? They show up to group calls. Are they asking a lot of questions in our like communication channels, things like that? 2 is the success with a program. Have they had results? Can they have the usual KPIs who have the program? Like they have consistent weeks or months with progress and the progress is increasing. And 3rd is like their attitude. They are excited about being in the program, fun to talk to the coaches, and excited to see them. Like, are they coachable? They don't have an ego, things like that. I dive more into it with the training I have in the link below. And what is the difference between asking them for a referral and asking them for upsells? We prefer to ascend clients over getting a referral because like we control it more. The upsell happens when they face a problem and they have the money. The referral happens when they get results, but they don't really have the problem that our backend solves, or when they like bring it up. Of course, we want to just go to our flow around that. Now the actual closing. Just because you have rapport with a client does not mean they will automatically buy from you. You have to still sell it hard. Make sure that you're up to speed on where they are currently. Do not ask redundant questions. So things that we remember. Most of the sale happens before we asking the buyer. Like the setting process is super important. So make sure you follow it if you haven't watched it already. And focus on objection prevention more than objection handling. However, like some objection will just happen no matter what you do. So just prepare yourself to get like 1 to 3 objections and then you actually close the deal. Connection phase. I know when you started, you were before. How much progress have you made overall? That's you ask if they actually made some progress. Overall, how much progress has that been in the last whatever time frame? If they haven't had that, you can mention that's like, how was your experience in the first few weeks, first few days, things like that, right? Or you can just get started with, okay, I know that you spoke with Saturday about problem number 1, problem number 2, and you've mentioned that it had impact that it had on it. And if you achieved it, you could outcome. Then we almost always go to wins phase because especially if they worked with you in the past. What do you think are the 2-3 biggest wins here? Was it like your biggest month and how much you made in total? That would be for a business offer. Next is the problems phase, which is super important. Okay, so where do you think you're the most stuck right now? Where do you think you would need the most help with specifically? Here, we want to dig into the pain and understand what's going on, like we would with any other sales call. Like depending where they are, we're going to narrow to like 1 to 3 core problems that they're facing right now. And then we ask a need payoff question. So if we were able to solve this problem, ultimately, where would that lead you next? What would your next focus be? We are painting the picture on the other side, and we're also seeing what they think about next challenges, would be after they fix the current challenge that they're on. Next, we do a doubt question, especially for people that feel like they're on top of the world. Okay, so based on my experience, once you go through problem number 1, the next big issue is going to be future problem. Do you have like a process or a system in place for that? Or this is something you feel like you may need help with? This lands really well because people are like, I think I know how to do it. Okay, that's not a problem. Like, have you actually done it before? Or this is something that you may use a little bit of consulting. That really opens us up to potential pitch. Okay, and do you have the team or a process needed to sustain that? Or this is something you may need additional insight on? Another way to ask the same question. Next is the solution question. Okay, so before speaking with me, we are looking for ways to a solution to a problem, right? Next is the desire question. Okay, and what is like our actual goal here? What are we trying to get this business to? Any new goals? Next, money and support. You already talked to this person before, or they had a call with a setter, so you should know if there are going to be any red flags or not. Okay, so before that, what's your personal circumstances like? Right? You ask the question from a setting call. Okay, then we transition into the pitch. Depending on the offer that you're pitching, you're going to be using like different pillars. That's why a lot of the times for our teams, we prepare like few pillars that they can pick from and switch ideas. That's how we prepare them for negotiation. Because people are afraid of negotiation, they just don't have all their options actually written out because they have to be creative in a process. We just remove that creativity by creating like different offers or different pillars that they can just switch up to fit whatever they need. And that's the whole process, to not only create offers, but also how to set, how to pitch, who should take it, and everything. If you have any questions, comment in the chat below, and see you in the next video.